Hey, what's going on, guys? This video is going to show you how you can get a mirror polished edge on the GATCO knife sharpening system. This is the GATCO Ultimate Diamond Knife Sharpening System. It comes with a coarse 200 grit, a medium 400 grit, and a fine 600 grit. These are the diamond stones. These do not require oil or water. And it comes with a ceramic 1200 grit stone and a stone for sharpening serrated knives. Now, when I bought this kit at Bass Pro, they gave me the base holder for free. I do use it sometimes I don't, but it does make it a little easier to hold. Now, since the jump from the fine diamond stone, which is 600 grit, to the 1200 grit ultra fine ceramic stone is very large, you're probably never going to get a really razor sharp edge. You might get it sharp, but it will not be hair whittling sharp. So to combat that, you're going to have to gradually increase from the 600 to the 1200 grit. And you can do that by taking some 800 grit sandpaper and taping it to the ceramic stone. I use 800, 1000, 1500, 2000 and 2500 grit sandpaper. You can get this sandpaper at most auto parts store like AutoZone or Pep Boys. This is the assorted pack, which contains the 1500, 2000, 2500. After I'm done with the 2500 grit sandpaper, I'll sometimes use these leather straps that I made from a belt that I bought at Home Depot. I think I bought it for $7 or $8, and I just cut out a 1-inch strip by 5-inch, and I apply some white or red rouge that can be found at Sears. It comes in a 4-pack with white, red, black, and brown. Now, what I do before I cut the sandpaper into strips is write the grit all over the back of the sandpaper. I had to throw away a whole set of strips because after I used them, I didn't know what grit they were, so there was no way to go in order. Now, one of these sheets of sandpaper will give me 8 strips total. What I do is take a ruler and draw 3 lines. So I'll have 4 strips going this way, and then I will take a strip that I cut out and I'll fold it in half and I'll cut it in the middle, and that fits the length of the ceramic stone perfectly. Gives you enough room to put some tape on the top and bottom to hold it there. Now, when you tape the sandpaper to the ceramic stone, or whatever stones you may be using, if you don't have the ceramic stones, you can use, I guess you could use these. It might not come out as good because these are very rough. It's got those deep holes in it. It'll still work, but not as good as if you had a flat stone that you could use. What I do is tape down one side, take my thumb, press down, and pull across. Make sure you get it as flat to the stone as you can. Try to eliminate that right there. I just finished sharpening this knife earlier using the GATCO system, and I'm going to take it out and show you how sharp I got it. Now, One of the things to point out, the hardest thing with this system is repeatability. On the wicked edge you can get 100% repeatability every time, but on this system you have to place the knife and the clamp at the exact spot every time, which isn't that easy. There's ways to modify that. You could drill holes in here and place some pins like the wicked edge has, but for now what I usually do is line the clamp up right where the grind starts on the blade and try to just guess where I sharpened it at last time. Alright, here's a sheet of Phonebook paper with a knife I just sharpened on the GATCO system. So push gut's pretty good. And here's the knife that I did on the wicked edge. Very similar. Considering the cost of this sharpening system, getting knife edges this sharp is certainly worth it. You could spend $90 on the system and $5 or $10 on some sandpaper, and you can get edges this sharp. The only difference between an edge sharpened on this and the wicked edge, like this knife right here, is I cannot get them hair whittling sharp on the GATCO system. There were times where I could get certain parts of the edge hair whittling sharp using the GATCO system, but I just could not get the entire cutting edge that sharp, and it was not easy to repeat. With the wicked edge, it's pretty much guaranteed a hair whittling sharp edge every time I sharpen a knife. I don't even have to hope I'm going to be getting a razor sharp edge, it just happens every time. So to compare the edges, the one on the right sharpened on the wicked edge and on the left sharpened on the GATCO, very similar, mirror polished finish, both very sharp, able to push cut Phonebook paper no problem. If you're trying to get a razor sharp edge and you're not willing to spend $300 to $500 on the wicked edge system, I would highly recommend the GATCO Ultimate Diamond Sharpening System. If you're considering this or the Lansky, I would definitely recommend the GATCO system over the Lansky, mainly because the width of the stone on the GATCO is much wider compared to the Lansky. The Lansky stones, I believe, are about as wide as this part right here. The wider your stone is, the more stability you'll have when sharpening. It's very important to keep the stone flat on the blade while you're sharpening, and it's actually recommended to not lift the stone off the blade whenever sharpening, because when you place the stone back down, if you don't place it down perfectly flat, you catch the edge of the stone on the blade, which will actually make a dent in your edge, and it'll take you longer to get a sharp edge. So the wider the stone is, the better. If you have a narrow stone, it's harder to feel if the stone is flat on the blade or not, and it's much easier to rock it side to side. If you have a wide stone, you have more stability, and there's much more user feedback while sharpening and less room for error.